Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Sharmit. In this session, we are going to discuss about another few important medical root word which will help us to identify the actual meaning of the complete medical terminology. And we are going to proceed in the very same way. Firstly, I'll explain you the meaning of some root words and then we will see their respective examples. Why we are learning examples? Because it will help us to identify the actual meaning in interviews or examples also. Okay, so it will provide us a good practice that we can later which will enhance our skills. Okay, now but before we proceed further with the session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released sessions first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow them sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic and to identify the terminology. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing that we are going to do here is to recap about the root word, like what is root word. So if someone asks you what is root word, so you can simply say that it is a word that provides the core meaning of the medical terminology. Okay, so it contains the actual meaning. Now we got that it contains the actual meaning. Now the next thing is it can be present in the beginning as a prefix, in the middle, or in the end, or in the place of suffix. Okay, so don't get confused between the prefix and root word, because you will find it is possible that you will find the root word in the beginning. Okay, so now how you will find the difference between prefix and root word? You can easily find the difference by looking at the word. If the word is providing you more than 90% of information related to body part or organ system, then it is a root word. Clear? So I think this part is clear. Now you can see we have couple of root word mentioned here with their meanings and their example, along with some easy definition that I have prepared. Now what I'll do, I'll read out all these things for you and I'll explain you each and every example with their root word. Okay, so the first root word we have is esophag or esophago. Esophag or esophago. Here you can see the meaning. The meaning of esophag or esophagus is esophagus, which is denoting the esophagus. Now we have first example, that is esophagitis. Esophagitis. Okay, that means throat inflammation. Throat inflammation. Next example is esophagectomy, okay, which is denoting the esophagus removal. So for us through a surgical procedure, if you want to remove the esophagus, if the doctors are removing the esophagus for some medical concern, then in that case we will use the terminology that is esophagectomy. Esophagectomy. Okay, now the next root word we have is fibro or fibr. Okay, fibr or fibro, which is nothing but denoting the fibrous tissue. For example, we have fibrosis. Fibrosis means scar tissue growth. Fibrosis means scar tissue growth. Okay, so this is something that shows the tissue related growth. Okay, which is scar tissue growth. Likewise, we have another example, that is fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia, which is nothing but denoting the muscle pain disorder. Muscle pain disorder. So if something is denoting the muscle pain disorder, then in that case we will utilize the terminology fibromyalgia, because that muscle pain is because of the tissue, fibrous tissue. So we are using the terminology that is fibromyalgia, and here the fibro is the actual root word which is providing more than 90% of information for the tissue. Next root word is ile, which is ileum or ile. Okay, which is nothing but denoting the ileum or small intestine. So if you want to denote something as a small intestine, then in that case you will utilize the root word that is ile or ile/o. Okay, so example is ileostomy, sorry, not ectomy, it's ostomy, ileostomy, which is denoting bowel opening in the abdomen. Okay, so for any medical purpose, if a bowel opening is performed in abdomen, then in that case we will use the terminology that is ileostomy, which contains root word as ileo. Then we have ileitis. Ileitis means small intestine inflammation. So itis, I think it is the most commonly used suffix in our examples, because we have learned it from a very long time, that what is the meaning of itis. So itis is nothing but denoting the inflammation. So ileitis. Ileitis means small intestine inflammation. Clear? The next thing is ilie, I-L-I. So don't get confused between these two root words. The first one is ILE, the second one is ILI, where ILE is denoting the ileum, ILI is denoting the ilium, that is hip. And in case of ileum with E, it is denoting the small intestine. Okay, so if you found terminology with ILE, ostomy, it is denoting the bowel opening in the abdomen. If you find something ILE, itis, which is ileitis, it is denoting the small intestine inflammation. Similarly, we have ilium, that is denoting hip, and you can see iliac crest. Iliac crest means top of hip bone. Then we have ileosacral joint. Ileosacral joint means hip sacrum joint. Ileosacral joint, which is hip sacrum joint. Okay, next we have kerato. Kerato means cornea or hard tissue. Kerato is denoting the cornea or hard tissue. Where we have keratitis. Keratitis means the cornea inflammation. Okay, so if a patient is suffering from cornea inflammation, then in that case we will utilize the terminology that is keratitis. Likewise, we have keratoplasty. Keratoplasty means cornea transplant. Okay, cornea transplant. So if doctors are performing the transplant of cornea, then in that case we will use the terminology that is keratoplasty. Next we have lip or lipoma. Lip or lipo, that is denoting the fat. Okay, for example, lipoma, which is nothing but a fatty tumor. So if you want to show something fatty, then in that case we will use the terminology lipo. Lip or lipo. Okay, so lipoma. Then we have liposuction, which is nothing but a fat removal surgery. So if doctors are performing some fat removal surgery, then that terminology is defined as liposuction, which starts from the lipo. Okay, next root word is lith, L-I-T-H, or litho, which is denoting the stone. Okay, so if something is related to stone, then we will use lith or litho. For example, nephrolithiasis, which is kidney stones. Okay, this is a common disease, so you might have heard about this, kidney stones, right? So this thing is denoted with the terminology nephrolithiasis. Okay, then we have lithotripsy. Lithotripsy means stone breaking procedure. Lithotripsy. Clear? Next root word is muscul or musculo or myos or myoso. So these all combination are used for denoting the muscles. For example, myositis. Myositis means muscle inflammation. So if for any reason muscles are inflamed, then we will use the terminology myositis. Likewise, we have musculoskeletal. Musculoskeletal means muscles and bones. Okay, then we have naso or rhino, that is denoting the nose. Rhinorrhea means runny nose. Nasogastric tube means nose to stomach tube. For this session we have the last example, that is last root word, that is pancreat or pancreato. This is denoting the pancreas. Pancreas means pancreatitis means pancreas inflammation. So itis, if something is related to itis, it is denoting the pancreas inflammation. Then we have pancreatic pancreatectomy. Pancreatectomy means pancreas removal. Okay, so for any medical purpose, if pancreas are removed through surgical operation, then in that case we will use the terminology that is pancreasectomy. Clear? So I hope these all root words are clear to all of you. Now for your practice purpose, I am providing you some interview questions and for the exams and interview, and it will help you to prepare well for your exam. So today's question is, what is the meaning of abdomen or abdomino root word? Okay, abdomen or abdomino root word. Now this I'm sure like most of you already know the answer of this question, so please do share your knowledge in the comment section. In case if you don't know the answer, then please refer the previous session. There we have already discussed this thing in a detailed manner, and once you got the concept, then you can share your answer and expertise in the comment section. Those who will those who are frequently sharing their answers in the comment section, then they will be spotlighted in one of the sessions. So thank you so much for watching Sharmit. See you in the next session with new topic.